I'm clicking record. Beverly Bowen Bennett is going to teach us about how to use EasySpeak. Beverly, the floor is yours.
Thank you very much, Kyle. And I really appreciate everyone being so patient. I'm starting with the screen, which is for the members, so that we can go over the things that a member needs to, that a member needs to do to get started with EasySpeak. I prefer to go up to my participation to the sign up for meetings.
Hey, Beverly.
As you can, yes?
Is this the screen that comes up when you first log in to EasySpeak?
Yes, it is. I'm
okay.
Sorry. Let me back up.
That's okay.
Yeah, go ahead and relog back in so they can see it, Beverly.
Yeah, okay. There we go. Going all the way back, this is the screen you'll see when you first log in. I am Grandma B43. So these are all what you as an individual member will see. What I started with was my participation, because you want to sign up for meetings. The way you can sign up for meetings is by just clicking on, I'm already a speaker here, but if I click on that little green hand, I can become the presider also. Not wanting to be the presider that day, I'm going to decline it. It's going to want to know why. So I can just say, do not want to. And, but I'll be there, won't I? Because I'm speaking. So the reason I particularly like this is because you can sign up for many weeks in a row. And Kyle, do you know how I can move this over so that it's not in my way? No. Okay. There's a way to click on here and you get other dates. So you can actually sign up for roles 6 months or so in advance. Well, for every meeting for which your club has been set up. The other thing, if we go back to my participation and sign up for meetings at the very beginning, you will see there's a request a speech key there also. So this is one of the ways you can request a speech. Some people don't understand about requesting a speech, so let me clarify. When you request a speech, it's only you requesting it. And then the Vice President of Education or designee will assign you when you're going to give that speech. Look at the center one here where the workbook is. Now, when you're first getting started, all that's going to be blank. So you're a new member and you're just getting started, and you open this up and you start off with the normal book, which is Competent Communicator. You see, I already have it here. Then you go to title of speech. We'll make up a title. We'll say, my first speech. We're going to do blah, blah, blah for the introduction, but you really want to write an introduction because that helps you with how your speech is presented as you are introduced by the Toastmaster. You have your workbook, then you go to preferred dates, and there's only one really open here, so we're going to go there. And what I didn't do was choose, which I need to. I'm choosing like I'm doing another icebreaker. And now I'm going to hit save, and then it's going to tell me that the Vice President of Education will be in touch with me to tell me when I can give that speech. That is how an individual member signs up for speeches. I am now going to go to down to look at our next meeting. So you see, when you're a member, the first thing is view the meeting. As an individual member, you can see the roles. and you can see who's already signed up. And again, here's another opportunity to sign up, accept that role. Now, there's some things here you might want to know. For instance, Austin's going to be Toastmaster. This question mark here means that we've said Austin's going to be Toastmaster. He hasn't gone in and checked on it to say, yes, I'm going to do it. As soon as he does, he's going to get a green like Jackie has here. So Austin is assigned to be Toastmaster, but actually hasn't accepted the role. I've assigned and accepted to be General Evaluator for the next meeting. Also, you can go to other meetings and you can look at your own roles by meetings that you've been and other people's as well from your link as a member and see, oh, wow, I haven't done that in a long time. So there's lots to do on EasySpeak, and one of the most important things is for the officers. The most important thing for, as far as I'm concerned, for the individual member is the signing up for roles and signing up for speeches. I am going to go down here and show you some of the administrative tasks. The important thing here is for the Vice President of Education or designee to schedule speeches.
Is this a VPE task?
Do the VPE task, or in some clubs, there's a VP assistant or an administrator assistant that helps with these, keeping track of all these roles and tasks. For instance, say that you gave a speech at another club, like Beverly sometimes does. So here I am, I click on that, and that says that I gave that speech somewhere else. Then I would record where I gave it and when I gave it, and then I'd save external speech. I'm not going to do it because I didn't do that speech. But the minute I do that, it then goes over to my recorded of what speeches I've given. So you can record speeches given that you've done at other clubs on EasySpeak. Now here, this shows that we are anticipating on the 9th that Chuck and Antoinette are both going to speak. If for some reason one of them cannot speak, then we can click the X, cancel that speaking assignment, and there, if you go over to Chuck on our screen here, you'll see the clock. That indicates that the speech has been assigned a time and is scheduled. So let's just take Chuck's speech and cancel it for a second. I can always put it back on. So we cancel Chuck's speech. And then what happens over here for Chuck? His clock turned into a question mark because now he doesn't know when he's going to give his speech. But to demonstrate how we assign a speech, go back to just clicking on the down arrow, and there's Chuck again, and we're going to reassign him. So this is going to flip in a minute and show you that Chuck is now giving it, and go back over, and Chuck has now got the clock. Does anybody have any questions about that? If you have questions as I'm going along, please feel comfortable asking them. These are the speeches that have been assigned in Talk with Tacoma Club, which is the club that I belong to, for which I have this sort of access. You see that, go ahead.
So Beverly, if I'm a VPE, I can see how I might assign somebody to a agenda. How do I set up a new agenda? So, for instance, I don't know how many weeks ahead you guys have set up.
Okay, would you like to see that, how to set up an agenda?
Yeah, how do you set up a new agenda and start assigning it? And by the way, please slow down with the mouse movements a little bit, because when you zip over to the left and click on something, I've missed what you're clicking on sometimes because
okay, thank you.
There's a delay over when in the mouse movement over the internet.
Okay, so we're on
And
scheduling by.
go ahead, Beverly, go ahead and describe what you're clicking on before you click it, okay?
Okay.
Just read what
Good idea.
the link says.
So we're still on the scheduling of the Vice President Education task. And actually, Kyle, the very next thing after scheduling speeches is creating a meeting. So we click on creating the meeting, and we have our meeting scheduled until the 27th of February. And so the next meeting to be scheduled is the 27th. We are talking Tacoma. We meet at Regis Blue Shield, 12 o'clock. And this is the 65th meeting that we have had on EasySpeak, not our 65th meeting. This meeting actually is going to be most probably, so I'm going to assume we're going to say that under our meeting theme is this will be our speech contest meeting for the International Speech Contest. So that's our theme for that day. Here you have a choice of leaving your agenda for later or international. Internal. Okay. The International Speech Contest. So you can either leave your agenda for later, or you can choose one of the agendas that you've already set up or that EasySpeak has set up with its own template. International Speech Contest. I'm sorry. Even though we're saying we're going to do that, I'm going to set up our usual agenda for this so that you can see what it is. And I actually trust it more. Then I can write in here, changing the font size. I might write, please attend all local speech contests. Because this will be printed out on the agenda that everyone will see. And I'm very bold about wanting everything to show up. So I'm going to go and make it red. So just like almost anything else that you work on for writing, you can do on here. And then we're going to submit it. And then we'll click to view the event. And it shows, please attend all local speech contests. And it has, this is our usual setup for our meeting. And it has all the people who normally who are members currently of our club. Is there any questions about that? I will tell you right away that create a new template takes a lot longer to explain than the time allotted for this. So let's go back to the Vice President Education task and go to the goals chart. This is where the Talking Tacoma Club is not as dutiful as we might want, in that a lot of people have not put their goals in. There are some of us who have. Now here, let's take Christopher, for instance, here. Christopher had set a goal of getting his CC by the 31st of December. We ended up canceling some meetings and he didn't get to give his speeches. And what does EasySpeak say? He failed. So he needs to go in here and put a new target date in. We can do that for him. I do not think he's going to complete it until 2018, of course, and I think he'll have it by March. Now, it will change here, and Christopher status is okay, and he has till the 31st of March to accomplish that goal. And you can see that I have achieved Advanced Communicator Bronze and achieved Advanced Leadership Silver. So I like to come to this screen and look at it. You might think I do. Now, going back to Vice President of Education tasks again, we have the communication chart. And this one I think is very important for you to look at and to think about, because it shows how people are achieving their goals. You will see that we have Bonnie Reidman, who is only 2 speeches short of her competent communicator. She is one of the people that was identified as accomplishing this goal towards us getting distinguished again this year. We also have Christopher down here, who's just 3 speeches short, and Donald, who is on the line with us and paying close attention, I'm sure, is also only 2 speeches short. So we're doing really well with that, but there are others who could accomplish a little bit more. So that's the goals chart. Going back to Vice President Education tasks again.
So the goals chart maps directly into the Distinguished Club Plan, the DCP.
It sure does.
Okay, that's very helpful.
Yeah, you can track the Distinguished Club, and here's where you can track how people are doing on their competent leadership, which is also plays right into the Distinguished Club, because you have to have 2 competent leaders, correct?
Yes. Now, is that leadership chart on a different place? Because I didn't see how you got here.
Oh, you didn't see how I went there? Oh, excuse me. So Vice President Education tasks again, going down past the communication chart is the leadership chart. And that's this chart.
Thank you.
And the way you set someone up to be on here, initially we didn't have EasySpeak keeping track. And Mike is on our list, so look at all of his check marks here. So I didn't know for the longest how he got them. But you go over here and you hit that button and start recording this leadership award, Advanced Leader Bronze. And that's the one that I'm working on now. So, but the check mark is already there. You create different ones as you accomplish one. And as you see, these green marks, they totally correspond with the roles that Allison, in this case, whose name I'm highlighting, accomplished since we started keeping track on here. And I can actually change that here too, to look at the different charts, like role history. So there's so many ways of, here's the communication chart. You don't have to go back to Vice President Education to see that. Roles by meeting. I like this one for checking out who in the world has not been Toastmaster lately. And again, let's look at something else here. Look ahead at 4 meetings. I like to look ahead 0 meetings because I want to look back and see. Austin was Toastmaster, then Lynn, and then Joan, and then Donald, and then me, and then Austin's going to be again. So you can see who's actually doing the roles, just looking at this. Going back, finishing off our Vice President of Education tasks, we go to roles by meeting. Oh, I just did that, didn't I? But I came at it a different way. So there's many ways to do the different things in this club, which brings me to this club. So we can go here and we can see who our club officers are. Right now, we don't have a president, but we're electing one on the 9th. And when they do, their name will go in here. This club also, one of the things I go to a lot is the user list. The thing about the user list that's important to me is it shows me when the members logged in last. So Allison hasn't logged in to check and see what's going on EasySpeak since the 27th of November. Of course, here I am, the 2nd of January. And here's somebody who hasn't logged in since the 6th of November. That's one of the things that the Vice President of Education could contact that person and say, I haven't seen you signed into EasySpeak. Is there a problem? Can I help you? I consider that member retention. We go back over onto the side again for membership management, editing a member. Here, every time you see a pin anywhere on EasySpeak, it means you can edit whatever that pin is near. Let's go to me, because if I mess me up, that's okay. So here's everything about Beverly. Here's my email address, and I don't have my Toastmaster number in there, which Mike pointed out to me. Club. The club shows that I have became first associated with this club on EasySpeak the day we started it, which was the 2nd of September. I actually joined the club on the 1st of September, I mean the 1st of January, but that does not show up here because we did not have it. I was introduced to the club, it should say here, it says by Speechcraft, but that's not right. It was by Jean Watley, who's no longer a member, so I probably can't pick her name up. Maybe that's why it moved to Speechcraft. Then we can go to Toastmasters, and it shows that other clubs that I have belonged to or been to and visited that also have EasySpeak and all the speeches that I've given. So we can do that with everybody. I can reset my password. And we're just going to submit this because we don't want to change anything about it.
Beverly?
Yes?
You said it shows clubs you visited that also use EasySpeak. Does that mean
Yes.
if you get booked to speak in another club and that club uses EasySpeak, that speech will automatically, the record of that speech being given in that other club will automatically show up on your club's website?
In a perfect world, if the Vice President of Education has put me in as a speaker, yes.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah. If some officer in the other club has to add you as the typical is guest speaker, because then you can be, there are lots of different roles that can be assigned. Obviously, you're not a member, but some of them won't allow you to record any roles. But guest speaker will allow you to do a role, and once that is confirmed by that other club's officer, VP, whoever, yes, it will automatically show and be added to your personal statistics on your own website, on your own club.
Neat.
Okay. Let's look at some of these other symbols. So we're still on me, right? And so this picture, this little green guy, is another way for you to sign up for a speech. Anywhere the little green guy is by your name, you can sign up for a speech. Now, because I have people that I'm a mentor for, I can actually sign them up for speeches also. But in the role that I'm in right now, which is Vice President of Education Assistant or IT person, as you see, I can sign up anybody for a speech. Then there's other little things I can do. Let's see. This one is my CL progress. Because I have completed that, you see it's all filled in.
Beverly, you didn't click on you. You clicked on Allison. That's Allison's. I'm saying Austin.
Oh, that's Austin. I'm sorry, that's Austin Wagner. Please forgive me. Let me go back. Oh, I can't go back because that thing's in my way. Okay, I'll just go down here and not do that. I will go to this club and go back to user list. Okay, sorry. Yeah, I went up above myself. And then let's look at this one. This one shows all the speeches that I've requested of late. So the Vice President of Education may want to look at this to say, now Beverly needs to get some of these taken care of. Speech list. This is what everyone has spoken for the year. Recent speeches. You can see completed the 28th of November. These are the ones that have all completed. The ones above this line are the ones where people have requested that they haven't been done yet. Does that make sense? I haven't had any questions come to me. As Kyle, are you getting questions?
No.
Okay. Either nobody cares or it's making sense.
So folks, if you have questions, you can either chime in with them, or if you type them into the chat window and I see them, I will let Beverly know about them.
So under this club, we can do some of the same things we've already done about the goals chart, the communication chart, the leadership chart. I would like to reiterate. Yes?
Well, you've shown us kind of what a VPE can do in terms of creating meetings, assigning tasks, and how people can request speeches and so forth. What does the system provide the treasurer of the club?
I don't have the answer to that.
Ah.
I don't think the treasurer uses this. Mike?
Mike?
I'm not hearing you.
He might have himself.
Sorry, I was on mute. I did. I had myself muted.
Okay.
I know of no treasurers who use this.
Yeah, I know no way the treasurer uses this. No. Now
But there is a way you can. Go ahead, Beverly.
I was going to say that you can send a message to the treasurer by going to My Communication. Our treasurer is Allison Hendricks. So I was at My Communication and I clicked on send a message to the treasurer. And I'm just going to write in this is a test and send it to Allison, okay? So that will go off to Allison.
That's going to send an actual email. It's not just a message within EasySpeak. It's an actual email that Allison will get.
It's an actual email to Allison, but I have to give it a heading. It didn't like it that I didn't give it a heading.
Right.
Mike, that worked. Thanks. I have sound now. Oh, you helped somebody get sound, Mike?
Yes, Peg was having a hard time hearing.
Okay. I'm glad you can hear.
Peg said she heard Kyle and Beverly talking, and then it cut out. And I said sometimes that you just need to reconnect to the meeting.
So, do you know if the treasurer can send an invoice from EasySpeak for the club dues, and can they track who's paid?
I do not believe so.
Okay.
Automatically, not doing it. Okay, so we're back to our main screen again, and this is a feature I didn't notice for a long time, neighboring clubs. You can click on that, obviously, and see all the clubs in the neighborhood. So there we are, Talk of Tacoma, then Talk on the Water, which is less than a mile away, it says. And then actually I can click on Talk of the Water and it will tell me when they meet, who the club officers are, how to contact them, et cetera, et cetera. I just found that one recently. And then to get back to my own club again, I go to Talk of Tacoma and click on it. And I'm back to me.
Okay, another question. Is there any way to
Good.
track and communicate with guests or prospective members?
Yes. Email. Thank you for reminding me about that. So, or maybe it's under contact other members. So the email addresses for these people are all here. And what you want to do if you want to go to other, after the other, is it says show non-members. Now, anybody that I've added that have been visiting with us are on here, unless I have removed them because they joined another club or something like that. But you can send an email to any of these people or all of them. See, if I check on that, then the email I send will go to all the people I click on. Does that make sense?
Yeah, that's pretty good.
And let's go to that, how to add a user. That's something I meant to cover. See over to the right-hand corner where I just clicked and add a user. See, you can say they're a visitor or member, inactive member, special guest, all these different, just a mailing list, past interest, but no email to be sent. So we're going to say we have a visitor, came this date, and we don't care who introduced them, but we do want to put in how to get a hold of them. So we're going to have Sarah and family name Jones. And I don't know, it won't accept it if it's not a legitimate email address. I'll just put one in and see if I can do it right. Because this might be my daughter's. And if so, then it will accept it. So then, if this is somebody who was in a club before, I would select from a list of previous club members or visitors. Say that Mike liked our club so much he wanted to join us too. Then I put here and it would correspond with Mike from his club and combine everything. So we're going to put submit. And it's probably not going to take it because, oh, it did. I must have put her address in right. So then we, as the person who's putting their names in, create something, some type of title. And it probably won't take that one either because I'm going to put create new user. And, oh, it did take, no, error. See, user not created because duplicate username daughter. Try daughter1. It has to be a unique name that no one else in the EasySpeak system has. And then you can create a new user. I'm not going to do it because it wasn't her name or anything. But that's how you add somebody, and you can add them as a visitor. And as you saw, they have the email address there, so you can send them emails, yes.
Beverly.
Are there any other questions?
Yes, we received a question from Allison. We have some customized agendas. Setting them up is supremely time-consuming and not WYSIWYG. Is there an easier way of doing it? An easier way of setting up customized agendas?
Thank you, Allison. Was that my Allison? So we'll go back to view meeting. And it's actually easy as pie. See over on the right where it says agenda, where my little cursor is? You click on that. An agenda comes up. And I hit Control P and print that agenda out. And that's the agenda that I take with me. Print enough copies for everybody. This is not totally filled out because, as you see, we have some open spaces.
Now, if you wanted to customize that agenda, can you do that?
In what way would you customize it?
Well, for instance, one thing I like to have in my agendas is I like to have the time when each activity starts. So if, I would show when the meeting starts, when the first speaker starts, when the
Yes.
second speaker.
Okay, so I'm going to go to this agenda button, which is how you change an agenda.
Okay.
And every, see where it says usual agenda? Remember, that's the one I set up?
Yeah.
Because that's the way we do ours. But let's say introducing inspiration. One of the questions you have here is, where is it? To set the time.
Well, it's duration.
It's the start time.
You
See
setting
that? Yes. Now I'm going to go back, and you'll see when I go up here and hit agenda again, it's going to show the time that that person starts doing it.
Ah, excellent.
So
okay.
It's an individual preference for how you set it up. Many of the Toastmasters clubs that use EasySpeak have all those times in. Personally, it seems to clutter it up, so I don't do that. But you'll see, can everyone see this good enough? It says 12 o'clock and 12:10.
Right.
That's because I have given our presider 10 minutes at the beginning of the meeting, because they do more than just give announcements. They also ask a question of each one of the members that's present that day. So 10 minutes is what's needed to accomplish that. Every club would give a different amount of time for that.
Right.
Once you assign a template to a meeting, what you can do is you can go in and then modify each individual item on the menu, on the agenda. You can make it longer, make it shorter.
Right. So
one of the things you have to differentiate. Yeah, one of the things you have to differentiate in EasySpeak is whether you're giving a manual speech or an educational speech.
Yes.
And sometimes you'll set up a meeting with 2 manual speeches as a default, and then when somebody wants to give an ALB kind of educational speech, you have to go in and change the agenda item for that speech slot. Otherwise, you won't be able to assign an educational speech to it. So each meeting, once you attach a template, you're allowed to go in and then modify it and customize each of the items you need to.
So we could actually make this second speaker, well, not on this one, because we already have somebody assigned to it. Just a second. Let's go back. Where am I? Oh, agenda. Okay. So now we have the agenda there, and we are have accepted this security return. Okay. Now, that's the other thing I didn't say, did I? But over here in the right-hand corner at the top, you can go to the next meeting. At the left-hand corner, you can go to the previous meeting. There's a pencil meeting here, and that's where you can click there and you can say something different. For instance, at this meeting, we are electing our new president. And I can type that in, and it will show up then on the agenda just that one time.
I have a question.
Yes.
I am looking at this from my cell phone, and had I realized I'm having a difficult time going ahead and looking at what you're doing on such a small screen, and I have been interrupted twice where I've lost all audio, and then I lost the screen altogether. So is this going to be recorded as a podcast?
It's being recorded as
I would like to.
It's being recorded and will be put out on the district's YouTube channel, so you'll be able to watch it as a YouTube video.
So I can go back and see what I have missed.
Yes.
I would also like to share with everyone that for me, who is a hands-on learner, I have spent hours with someone else at my side working on getting proficient. I am very amenable, very pleased to have anyone at all call me. I will go on my screen while they're on their screen and help them. My telephone number is 253-651-0901. I'm going to repeat that. My telephone number is 253-651-0901. I've done this with my own members of clubs I belong to, where I've been on the screen and said, now I'm clicking here, if you click there. And it works out for people to learn very easily if you're working with someone.
Well, I appreciate what you're doing, but it is very difficult on a small screen, and it is even more difficult with the interruptions. And so I think if I were to make a recommendation, I'd say that you need at least a tablet size to be able to see all of the things, because every time you move the cursor, I'm not able to follow it.
Okay, I'm moving over to another meeting where there are not people assigned to things, so that we can look at something different. And so like on second speaker here, there's where we could assign speeches on this screen, or as Mike said, somebody contacted us and said they wanted to do an educational speech. Then we would come in and go to one of the speakers, click again on the edit button, change this from speaker to educational, and then the time changes. Most educational things are 10 to 15 minutes. So the 10 to 12, and then you go over here and you do 30 seconds, and you give them 16 minutes on the agenda because you want to give them time to get up there and get their stuff together. And the event is an educational speech. Whoops. And will now show up as such on the agenda. Come in. Sorry, I got somebody at the front door. So that it now has an educational speech there, giving the times. And then if you look up here, it says we have now an hour and 10-minute meeting. So we have to adjust something else. So in our case, I would go to table topics and I would change it from 12 minutes. Actually, I'd probably cancel it. So I'd probably get rid of it altogether. But well, let me show you how to do that. So I'm going to leave that, and then I'm going to update. And so we've decided that at that meeting, we don't have enough time for table topics. I'm sure you've all had that happen. With EasySpeak, what you do is go over and hit the X to delete that, and it redoes your agenda. Am I sure I want to delete that? Yes, I am. And I see that our time is really up. I'm willing to continue as long as anyone is wanting me to stay online and work on this, but I want to be respectful of your time.
Does anybody have any questions? Now would be a good time to either type them in or speak up.
Once you're assigning all the agendas on the main screen, and you, for example, for the Better Speaker series, you choose a project, and it's a 10 to 15-minute speech, does it automatically modify the time in the screen that we're looking at right now? Doesn't it automatically modify? I think it does. With my
it should. It should.
Because I
each of the projects that you attach to, it will it will make that change. Now, that doesn't mean you can't go in and change it afterwards manually, but if it's in the series or in the advanced manual as a 10 to 15 minute speech, when you assign that speech to that slot, it will automatically change it, and then of course the rest of your the length of your meeting will then change.
Yeah. Okay.
And that's where you have to go in and adjust something in your meeting.
Yeah. Thank you.
Thank you.
Any other questions? Okay.
Like I said, there's lots to learn, but if people feel like that they're okay with this for now, like I said, I'm very available, and Kyle would know how to get a hold of me if you weren't able to write down the number.
And this has been a great introduction. And if we could hear it, I'd ask everybody to give you a round of applause. But Beverly, thank you for taking the time out for preparing this. Everybody who signed up for this should have received an email with a link to the handout that Beverly prepared to go along with this. This session is being recorded and will be posted on our YouTube channel. You'll also receive an email with a link to the YouTube video once it's posted. So Beverly, thank you very much for your work and for sharing EasySpeak with us.
Kyle, a question popped up that I'd like to answer, if it's okay.
Sure.
It asked if there was a way to practice this before your club went to EasySpeak. And the only way I would know how to do that is if you were able to be involved with a club that already has EasySpeak. Mike, do you know of another way?
No, in fact, to set up a new club, somebody who's already in EasySpeak has to go do that. And you could play with it before you actually started using it, but you have to be live in the system to do anything. There's no test version at all.
If the person who asked that question is in Washington State, I would be glad to bring my computer and show them how to play with it with my computer.
Nope, she's in Alaska.
Oh. Well, hey, you buy me a ticket to Alaska and I'll come and show you. So thank you all very much, especially for your patience with us getting started.
Okay, folks. Thank you for your time and thank you for your patience. And this was a great session. Beverly, thank you very much. I'm going to stop recording.
All right. Thank you.
Appreciate it.